Alright guys, welcome to your 20-second biology tutorial, and in this video I want to talk to you guys about the endoplasmic reticulum. And that actually is a very long word to write and also to spell, so from now on I'm just going to call it the ER, and if you're like Bucky or just lazy, that's not going to help me remember it at all. Actually, biologists refer to it as the ER a lot for the reasons that I just told you guys. It's long to spell and say. So let's go ahead and talk about what exactly is the ER. Well, the ER is basically a series of canals that connects the nucleus to the cytoplasm. So let's go ahead and draw the cell. Sweet looking cell, as usual. And here's the nucleus right here. Looks like a loaf of bread, no big deal. And let me just go ahead and, well, might as well just label the cytoplasm. And we'll go ahead and draw the ER as this color right here. So it looks something like this. Okay, that's some nice looking endoplasmic reticulum right there. And I'm actually going to draw another thing in another color. And I'll explain to you guys what this is later on. Alright, so there's some ER for you. And on part of the ER, we have these dots. Now, these dots are actually ribosomes. And I'll explain to you guys the difference of why there are ribosomes on some part and why there are not ribosomes on the other part in just a second. Alright, so what color do I want to write with? This color looks pretty good. Alright, so as you can see, this entire thing right here is the entire endoplasmic reticulum. But there are clearly two different parts. There are parts that are covered in ribosomes, and this is called the rough endoplasmic reticulum, or rough ER. And this other part that obviously isn't covered in ribosomes is called the smooth ER. Now let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the different types of ER, rough ER and smooth ER. First of all, the part, well, I already told you guys that the part without this part right here is a smooth ER, so remember, I'm going to be talking about this part right now, the rough ER, and basically, we already know that ribosomes on the rough ER, just like any other ribosomes, they make proteins, but they just don't make any proteins. The proteins that are made on the rough ER always end up in either your cell membrane, so maybe there's a protein right here, protein right there, or outside your cell. And they just don't chill outside your cell. What I mean to, whenever they end up outside the cell, I mean they get sent to other parts of your body. They go through your bloodstream and to wherever they're needed in your body. So here's a protein, and they always come from the rough ER. So remember one more time, whenever a protein gets made on the rough ER, it ends up either in your cell membrane or to other parts of the body. Now, I say that because you also have other ribosomes in your cell. And I guess I'm drawing my ribosomes in blue. Now, some ribosomes are stuck on the rough ER. That's actually why it's called the rough ER. And some ribosomes are free floating around your cytoplasm. So free floating here, here, and here. Now, whenever you have a ribosome that's free floating in your cytoplasm, they of course make proteins too, but they make the proteins that are used inside your cell, because every cell needs to use proteins for a variety of different reasons, so they make these proteins right here. So remember, we already know that ribosomes are involved in the creation of proteins. The ribosomes on the rough ER make proteins for your cell membrane and for other parts of your body, and the proteins that are made that your cell uses are made by free floating ribosomes, the ones that just float around your cell and aren't stuck to the rough ER. Simple enough? Now let's go ahead and talk about the smooth ER, this part, the part of the ER that isn't covered in ribosomes. Well, the smooth ER is basically responsible, it helps in the creation of lipids, which we just know that's a nice name for fat. It's kind of like we have overweight, but you know, it's really fat, no matter if you want to call it, not to sound mean or anything. But they also assist, not, overweight people, but the smooth ER also assists in the creation and storage of steroids. So again, a much different task than the rough ER. The smooth ER is responsible for the creation of fat and also the creation and storage of steroids. Now, proteins and the fats that are made in the ER, the entire ER, I'm not just talking about one anymore, what happens when they're done is they get packaged up into something called transport vesicles. So, transport vesicles. So the proteins, which I guess are white, and the lipids, I'll go ahead and draw those white too. Whenever they're created, they get packaged up into these transport vesicles, and I'll draw them as yellow. Go ahead and label those. And what happens after that is they get carried from the ER to something called the Golgi Apparatus. Now, the Golgi Apparatus is a whole nother organelle that we're going to be talking about in the next tutorial, but I just wanted to explain to you guys that this is what happens whenever proteins and fats are done being created. So just remember that the ER, the endoplasmic reticulum, is like a warehouse, or you can kind of think of it as a manufacturing plant, because its job is to, first of all, create proteins and lipids. So it creates something and then it ships them out to something called the Golgi apparatus, and we're going to be talking about that in the next video. But for now, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.